Item 3.03, Superintendent Summary and Comments.
Thank you, Ms. Sigma. Welcome to tonight's Board of Education meeting. We are glad you're here with us or joining online. Yesterday, throughout the SCSD, we remember the spirit of sacrifice made on September 11, 2001. We also continue to honor the sacrifices made daily by members of our armed forces and their families for keeping us all safe. May we never forget the lives lost in the 9/11 attacks. On a better note, or a little bit of a brighter note, we are off to a fantastic start of the 24-25 school year. I want to thank all of our staff for all of their hard work and dedication in getting us started on the positive and a forward direction. Now, specifically, why has it been such a great start? I will tell you, I'm going to give kudos and a little shout out to one of our board members, Mr. Brian O'Mara, as well as a couple of our other board members who sit on the committee. And let's talk all things cell phone for a second, shall we? I am happy to report that from our building administrators that the new policy in place is working really, really well. And that, I'm not saying that there aren't issues here and there, but overall our teachers, I think, are feeling empowered in the classroom. Engagement is an all-time high. Relationships, student to student, student to teachers. I know we've been in the classrooms a lot, and it's pretty neat to see. So kudos to you, Brian. Kudos to the board members who are part of that, and then to our committee that was part of restructuring that policy. So just to remind everybody, basically at our high school levels, we have taken the cell phone usage out of our classrooms. Kids can still have them in the hallways and at lunchtime and during the before and after school. But when instruction time is taking place, the phones are put away. And it's been, now knock on wood, but it's been a pretty smooth start. So I thought that was a great update to make sure we give to y'all. So pretty exciting stuff with that. It's interesting, our 8th graders, or actually I should say our 9th graders, who obviously just came from Hardin, they actually think they've won the jackpot because now they can at least have their phones out sometimes during the day, because in our middle schools they can't. So it's kind of interesting, the perspective, but kudos to you all for being the catalyst for that change. As you probably are aware, we have a few major construction projects taking place throughout the district, although some of the work will continue to and be completed during the school year, especially at Hardin. We are pleased that all of our schools were fully ready when welcoming students back on August 20th. We are still waiting for that opening start date for our student clinic, but don't forget about it because it's coming, and we're excited about that. Earlier, the Board of Education set the tax rate for this school year. Mr. Shields will have more on this in the financial report at the end of the meeting. I also want to give a quick little tease. We'll have this again next month, but the MSBA, which is our Missouri School Boards Association, has an annual student scholarship called the John T. Belcher Award. It is awarded to a graduating senior in each of the 17 MSBA regions, and one regional winner will be selected as a state winner. Our Board of Education has given our high school principals the direction to select a nominee that will apply for that award, and we'll have that name next month for you. Fall sports season has started. It's a fun time to get out and see our kids. I know we're gonna have performing arts and plays before you know it as well, and concerts and all those things, so go Pirates and go Warriors. And I got to stop by for just a little bit. The Pirates and the Warriors were playing softball this afternoon. Both teams are very competitive, and the score was?
6-4 high.
6-4 high won the game today. So when I was there, I saw at least one home run, so that was cool. We've worked hard to prepare for this meeting. Tonight, some important discussion presentations, obviously consent agenda items, policy changes for first and second reading, preschool program review, and then also the district financial report. Again, we're off to a very productive start. Thank you to our staff, our families that we serve, and let's just continue to move forward together. Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you, Dr. Seifert. Item 3.04, Board Communications. Do we have any?
We do not.
No? Okay. Item 3.05, Audience Comments.
Hold on, it moved around on me.
You want one?
Oh, I got it.
Got it?
All regular and special meetings of the board shall be open to the public. Since the board desires to be a good listener and be responsive to the community, persons desiring to address the board may do so during the time so allotted on the agenda and according to established procedures. During the audience portion of each board meeting, patrons are invited by the president to speak for or against any proposal in the tentative agenda or on any other school concern. The individual is asked to identify him or herself, limit comments to a few minutes, and avoid discussing personalities. The president reserves the right to limit the number of presentations and/or length of comments. At the discretion of the president, patrons may be recognized at other times during the board meeting. The board is very interested in audience comments. According to board policy, members cannot respond during the actual meeting. The board will listen to audience comments, and if necessary, additional follow-up will occur through district administration.
Thank you, Daniel. We will start with Brendan Kearns.
Good evening, members of the St. Charles community, Central Office staff, and Board of Education members. My name is Brendan Kearns. I'm the president of the St. Charles Education Association, the Certified Bargaining Agreement Group for the City of St. Charles School District and our NEA local. I just want to give a couple comments. Our school year, we feel, is off to a strong start. All of our members are excited to be back working with our students, helping to achieve to their fullest. SCA loved having the opportunity in August to speak with our new educators at New Teacher Orientation and tell them about all of the great things our organization has been doing for 52 years here in the City of St. Charles School District. We had 56 new teachers, and we are happy to say that once again, a majority have chosen to be a part of SCEA. We've also begun our work with Central Office Administration this year. Had our first sit-down recently. Wanted to compliment them on their quick, proactive actions on some things that we brought to their attention. So thank you very much for that. And I'd also like to echo the comments of Dr. Seifert about the cell phone policy. Hearing from our secondary members, they have been very happy to have the policy going on. I can speak as a member of the Success Campus staff. We feel like the students are more engaged, less anxious. Overall, we feel like it's been a great success so far as we work through it. One thing I did want to mention that we have been hearing about, science of reading implementation in the elementary grades is obviously something, hearing from our members, they are very much behind it. Having a chance to attend the DESE Summit this summer, I can see the great things that are coming from the science of reading. There is, however, as there is with any new program, some trepidation about implementation. So we look forward to proactively working with Central Office to make sure that this program runs as optimally as it can for teachers, students, and parents. Thank you all very much.
Thank you, Brendan. Next, Roy Ross, if you want to come up and speak.
Hi, my name is Roy Ross. I'm here. I'm going to start by reading just some of the values at Hardin Middle School. So the culture. We commit to maintain a positive school culture where students and staff are feel connected, supported, and engaged. And in safe school environment, we are committed to promoting a safe working and learning environment. I can go on and on with your mission statement, but I would like to talk about an issue that I had with my daughter at Hardin Middle. Last Thursday, got a phone call. She was suspended, out of school suspension. Over the course of that Saturday leading up to the day she got suspended, there was another kid that got in the group chat that she met at the school and called her, jumped in on a group chat, talked to her and another girl kind of out of sorts. My daughter, multiple occasions, said, please stop, leave us alone, stop texting us, leave us alone. It went from, oh, you don't want to talk to me anymore, forget you, well, black B, and I don't mean B as in flying, and called her a black monkey, a couple other things. Excuse me. So anyway, moving forward, there's another kid that kind of came to her defense on a phone call. And they mentioned that they were gonna fight in school, but so my daughter decided to go back to school. She knew better, and I can say this part. You all have a policy where you're not supposed to mention talking about fighting. You can get suspended. She mentioned to another student that such and such was gonna fight this kid who was saying all these things about him. So, long story short, she does her 2 days off. We take her back Tuesday. I talked to the principal that I talked to Miss Jewett Friday, because I couldn't get her Thursday. So I talked to her Friday. She basically told me how they discipline kids is my prerogative, and I was like, man, I didn't realize Bobby Brown could, sing that good, So she threw that in there and basically made it like it was nothing. She also said that even though they questioned all the students, my daughter's the only one that said that, yes, I did talk about this fight. All the rest of the students that were involved said that, no, we didn't say that. So she got the time off, they didn't.
If you can just wrap up with one final thought.
So Tuesday, she comes back to school. We talked to Curtin and Smith. And long story short, she tells them that these kids did talk about fighting at the school, and it was connected. They were going to fight in the bathroom, wherever. And they said, well, we can't prove it because we don't have any evidence. And so basically her statement was, she's not valid. They were, but they had a fight that day. That same day she came back. The kid who fought got ISS. The other kid who said all these slanders about my daughter got nothing.
Thank you for sharing, Mr. Rouse.
Yeah.
Next up is Ms. Kathy Alsdorf on behalf of SESA.
Good evening, community and school board. I'm Kathy Ellsdorf, and this is Jill Meyer. We're co-presidents of SESA, the Support Staff Union. We just want to say, hey, we're back, and we're through the custodians, secretaries, paras, all health clerks, all the support staff. We're doing everything we can for the kids. We're a little bit short on staff, and Dr. Lewis is doing everything he can, and then some. But if you know anybody, send them our way. We're back. We're in it, and thanks for all your support.
And it was great to see all of you who were at the CSIP meeting. It was wonderful. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. That's all we have for audience comments. At this time, we'll take a short 4 or 5 minute break. If anybody wants to leave at this time, feel free to do so, and we'll reconvene to continue with our meeting. Okay, we're going to go ahead and get back to our meeting. Item 3.06, is there a motion to amend or adopt the agenda as presented?
I move we adopt the agenda as presented.
Is there a second? I second. All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Item 4.01, for efficiency, the school board utilizes a consent agenda. Items placed on the consent agenda are routine in nature or are among the many decisions that the board has already determined are in the domain of the administration. Is there a motion to approve the consent agenda as presented?
I make a motion to accept the consent agenda as presented.
I second.
All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Item 6.01, policy changes. This is our second reading. Is there any discussion or questions over any of these policies? If not, is there a motion to approve?
I move we approve policies AFA, BDC, DFI2, DLC, GBE, BC, JEC-1, JECA-1 as presented.
Is there a second?
I second.
All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Item 7.01, policy changes. This is our first reading, so this is just for information. Any discussion on these policies?
Yeah, just, I was to see if we could get that one explained a little bit. I know there's been some communication about these policies here. Maybe one of the staff here could help us out, just go a little bit deeper into it. I know there's the distinction between the two, and has this been the same policy that like other school districts have had issues with as far as whether the kid's in the yearbook or whether he's not, this kind of scenario? Is this the same policy as that in other districts that have issues, or?
You're talking
maybe-
about policy
Yeah.
J01?
Yeah.
I can speak to it. Jeremy, any central office team member can speak to it. I don't know what other schools have had issues with what policies. A lot of us use the same policy, third party, which is MSBA, but there's other ones out there. I think you've seen some of the dialogue that we've had on this situation. And so basically, what I see from our legal standpoint too, because we talked to our legal team about it as well, is that form that parents fill out, that basically generates what can be shared and what can't be shared. And then we have to be very careful on a legal standpoint of saying we're going to send it to this group and not to that group, and get very specific about who we're going to exclude from information in general. You want to add anything to that?
No, I was going to just echo what you said, honestly. But we've not had any concerns brought to us up until the last 24, 48 hours or so about any information sharing that I'm aware of anyhow. So I don't know specifically what some of the other districts might have faced or have been facing, but certainly something that if it is out there, we would want to be aware of it.
I noticed the original policy, the one we're updating, says directory information is subject to sunshine law requests, and that has to be followed. But I'm wondering, has the sunshine law been changed so that that's no longer the case? Or will that directory information be subject to the sunshine law? But I guess a call to MSBA could clear that up.
Yeah, I would hesitate to respond to if that sunshine law has changed or when it has changed. Just not confident enough in
Yeah,
speaking to that.
Well, and just to that point, I don't have any specifics on that either, but if the sunshine law policy has changed or a law has changed, then MSBA would send us revisions, and they have not. So, I mean, that's how our whole process is done through. So, and I'm not saying it hasn't, I'm just saying that's typically where we would see it from, so. And again, I'll repeat it again, these are not changes or revisions that we're bringing up, it's just simple process through MSBA.
Okay, I just heard a lot of chatter, so I just want some clarity. I haven't had a whole big chance to sit down and just read through everything and hear about it. I just saw a bunch of stuff come through, so I wanted to just get some clarity, that's it.
I shared a pretty clear
Response.
response and email with you all that kind of goes through all of that. So it talks about exactly what we can and can't do, and we're under the law, and we're under what MSBA is recommending, so.
Yeah, well, I see your emails, I just delete them, so I didn't read it.
Good to know.
I'm just kidding. Nobody get their feelings hurt.
I think probably it's also to know that anybody with MSBA policy will be updating this policy as well. So when these policies are updated, it's not just for the City of St. Charles School District, but anyone with MSBA policies.
Any other discussion? If not, we will move on. We'll have the second reading at our next meeting, and we'll move on to item 8.01, the preschool program review. From you lovely ladies.
Well, good evening, and thank you for inviting us to share with you the successes of early intervention. My name is Dr. Ann Westbrook. I'm the principal of the City of St. Charles Early Childhood Center, and with me is Mrs. Sarah Sherwood, our assistant principal and parents as teachers coordinator. The District Early Childhood Center currently offers full-day programming 2, 3, and 5 days a week. We offer half-day programming 5 days a week, half-day and full-day early childhood special education programming 4 days a week, and extended care is offered from 6:30 a.m. until 6 p.m. daily. All of our preschool classes are fully accredited through the Missouri Accreditation Program. The goals of our program are to create learning experiences that academically challenge all of our students. We do this by encouraging learning through play, through curiosity, creativity, hands-on experiences, prepare students for the academic and social demands of entering elementary school, educating the whole child, right? Providing social, emotional, motor, intellectual, and language development, and to develop and maintain family and community partnerships. This also, if you go to the next slide, aligns with our district CSIP goals. And some of those are just expanding district programming for early childhood education, focusing on data-based decision-making teams, providing alternative programming, and having strategies in place to ensure that all students feel connected and feel supported. If you take a look at the next slide, you can see our enrollment data from 2017 until now. And this is when we opened up the brand new Early Childhood Center back in 2017-18. So we have increased our enrollment since then from 144 students in the general education classrooms to 167 students in the general education classrooms. But however, if you look at the ECSE students, the enrollment has also increased from 56 students back in 2017-18 to 111 students in 23-24. So currently, all 16 of our classrooms are being utilized. Of those classrooms, we have 5 of those that are full-day settings. So they're either 2, 3, or 5-day full-day settings, 2 are half-day settings, and the other 9 are either half-day special education, half-day, or full-day settings. If you look at the next slide, this gives a little snapshot of the student demographic data. And there are many, many options for families to access early childhood education in our district. In 23-24, Title scholarships provided free or reduced tuition for preschool for 79 students, or 28% of our student population. We also offer tuition discounts for families that qualify for the free and reduced meal program to make preschool more accessible for more families. And of the 279 families that attended last year, 13 or an additional 4% of our student population received those tuition discounts. Students receiving early childhood special education services consist of 42% of the total student population. That is an increase from 27% in 2017-18. On our next slide, you can see that we strive to meet the CSIP goal of using the data-based decision-making teams to use data to adjust instruction to meet the needs of all of our learners. And so you can see some of our power standards that we assess throughout the year. You can see the benchmark, which was the August data compared to the May data. What we do is we use what's called Project Construct framework for curriculum and assessment. Children learn through play, interactive experiences, and whole group and individual instruction. We give what's called the preschool common assessment, which we wrote in conjunction with our own teachers, and it's based on the Missouri Early Learning Goals, and it documents those student progress on key kindergarten readiness skills. This is given to students 4 times per year to track progress, creates plans for targeted instruction. It has a total of 6 curricular areas with a total of 29 benchmark indicators. And the curricular areas consist of early reading, pre-kindergarten writing, pre-kindergarten math, physical development, self-development, and social development. And so last year, in conjunction with the Curriculum and Instruction Department and Mrs. Sherwood and the early childhood teachers, we rewrote the early childhood curriculum and the preschool common assessment to align with those Missouri early learning standards. This is just, in the next slide, another way of looking at that data. So this looks at our pre-kindergarten students that were in the full-day general education preschool classroom and their growth on the preschool common assessment throughout the year. So the top bar for each of these categories is the benchmark or the August data, and the second bar would be your May scores in those particular power standards above. So identifies letters increased 40.7%. Produces letter sounds, increased 57.4. Identifies numbers, increased 25.8. Names shapes, increased 4.5. And names colors, increased 10.9%. If you go to the next slide, we also have strategies in place to ensure that all of our students feel connected and supported. We give what's called the Devereaux Early Childhood Assessment, or the EDECA. This is a screening tool for social emotional skill development in the areas of total protective factors, initiative, self-regulation, attachment and relationships, and behavioral concerns. Staff members will complete this screener 3 times a year to track progress and create plans for targeted instruction using interventions through our conscious discipline social emotional curriculum. And then the next slide is just another way of looking at that data. So these were our EDECA ratings from last year, and the left columns in each of the areas, like strength, typical, and need, are the pre-ratings. And then the right-hand columns are the post-ratings. And so you can see that the scores in the typical range increased over the course of the year, which is exactly what you want to see, and then the areas of need decreased throughout the course of the year. So we have great data to look at all of the areas of need decreasing throughout the year. If you go to the next slide, ECC is in alignment with the SCSD United Plan by using those data-driven decision-making systems to specifically respond to student learning and developmental needs. So we meet in professional learning communities to review that common assessment data and the EDECA data. Staff members target specific focus areas and implement small group instruction and individualized conscious discipline strategies based on the results of each child's preschool common assessment, or EDECA. And over the last 3 years, we had an interventionist who was funded with ESSER, federal ESSER dollars, and she met with students who scored in the basic and the below basic ranges on the benchmark assessments. And so we just continue to look for alternative ways to bring this valuable position back to early childhood, if at all possible. The next slide talks about response to intervention, and this includes the implementation of positive behavioral interventions and supports. We're in our 2nd full year of implementing PBIS, and that aligns with the rest of the district and really helps prepare students for school age and that kindergarten transition. So with our teams, we formed a universal or tier 1 leadership team, and we met with a coach to draft our universal expectations for all of our common areas, a PBIS matrix, and a PBIS behavior flow chart, all in alignment with the district. And just like our young learners, we have really big dreams for the future. We would love to expand the transition program that prepares preschool students and their families for the transition to kindergarten, both from that general education perspective and a special education perspective. We understand there's so many questions as kiddos transition from preschool to big kids school. We'd love to respond to the needs of our community for additional half-day classroom settings, and we'd love to increase the special education placement continuum to include like a half-day part-time general education, part-time special education classroom. And there have been just so many positive things in the early childhood program. If you think about the history, we began as just 2 single classrooms in the elementary schools. And we've grown now to 16 full classrooms in our very own state-of-the-art amazing building with a principal and assistant principal. And at the heart of it all, the focus of our preschool program is just learning through play every day. We just strive to meet the needs of our students and their families and to work hard to form those positive first impressions of the City of St. Charles School District. And I really, really encourage you, come visit us anytime, come play with us and just see the great things that are happening in early childhood. I can talk about it all day, but you really just need to experience it and get the feeling for yourselves.
Thank you so much. It's amazing. Great presentation. Any questions or comments?
Yeah,
on
no
the board?
questions, just comments for me. I think I've gotten to experience it, fortunately. I have 2 students, children that went through ECC for 2 years before starting kindergarten and now first grade. They have nothing but positive experiences. They're doing awesome, and I know a big part of that is because of the time they spent at ECC for those 2 years. Getting to see that firsthand and experience, it's amazing. Getting to see this data and information is even more amazing. There's one thing of feeling and being supported, but getting to see what ECC is doing every single day and having 34.4% move from one category to the next within the common assessment data and all the demographic information just shows, I think, how wonderful that school is, that it's doing all the right things, and I applaud everybody that's working there and helping those students prepare for the next stage in their life.
Ditto and amen.
Yeah, I love to see the data to back up, like Daniel said, I mean, we know you all are doing amazing things, but to see the huge improvements over the course of the months that they're there is amazing. So kudos
So
to all
much
of you
growth
and all the
happens.
staff there at ECC.
Thank you. That our team is absolutely incredible. They're just a team of magic workers, and they're truly there because they have kiddos' best interests at heart, and it's really, really neat to see that.
And led by 2 amazing principals and assistant principals as well. So kudos to both of you. Any other comments from the board, questions? If not, is there a motion to approve the preschool program review as presented?
I move to approve the preschool program review as presented.
Everyone seconds. All those in favor, say aye. Opposed? Thank you so much. Thank you all. We'll move on to item 9.01, the district financial report.
You could click on the board report for me, please. I apologize to everyone right now for the lack of enthusiasm for the financial report after following Dr. Westbrook.
She's a hard act to follow.
Yeah. I feel ashamed, honestly.
Hey, at least it's cooler in here. We're good.
All right, real quick here, if we go down one for me, please, to the month end of August, just for the board's sake, the 6100s and the 6200s of the expenditures, the salaries and employee benefits is what I first look at in that first month of August. That gives us a baseline of what we should experience for salaries and benefits going forward, knowing that that will adjust because the benefits will change based on how we're invoiced from UMR specifically, and that's still due to medical claims, and also through our prescription provider, Optum. So that benefits will change, but the salaries, will be somewhat consistent. Again, it depends on personnel, resignations, and hires and such. So looking at that, that puts us slightly below $6 million for the month. to get through this year, and that should be some sort of an expectation that we would have. If we go down to year end, that should be the last page. You'll see that we're sitting at around $22 million, 22.1 is what we're going to be sitting on as of right now, with various amounts of revenue coming in for Fund 1 and Fund 2 as we get closer to December. So that's a healthy amount. That's going to put us right in that 24% range, but want to caution 24% that we've not received approval from the state yet on the SBR, that is where we're landing. So I can't really confirm that that's the case until we get that final report from the state, which may take another month and a half. So we'll see when that rolls in for us. Other items to note would be, well, the salaries, one, are following the trend that we expect with that 2.5% increase that we gave out. So that's good to see that we didn't miscalculate or anything along those lines. Tax rate increase, or the tax rate hearing, remember, still has to go through the county for approval of data, and then through the state auditor's office. Once I receive that final report back, more than likely that will not be until October. Then I submit that final information to DESE, and that's when it is finalized. So just to remind everyone about that. The other piece, now that we have set the tax rate, well, almost set the tax rate, we will be bringing adjustments to the board in October. We're going to try to bring 3 adjustments to you this year. One in October, more than likely in February, March, and then the last one in June. So just know to anticipate some adjustments next month. That's our goal. And then the final piece, talking about benefits, we're still trending at a decent rate. So we have one more meeting before we finalize what we want to bring to the board. We should have that to you in October to roll out to our staff beyond that. But we do not anticipate any increases to employees at this time. I have one more meeting, and I do not want to eat crow unless I say that. So I'm kind of giddy because that'd be the first time in 3 years I've been able to say that. So any questions?
I move to approve the district financial report as presented.
Item 10.01, is there a motion to adjourn the meeting?
I make a motion to adjourn tonight's meeting. I second.
All those in favor?
Aye.